Manisa Tarzan is the publicly known name of the first environmentalist who devoted his life to nature and made Mount Spill his home. His real name is Ahmedin Karlak. But instead of using the surname of Karlak, he used the surname of the saint of Saint Ahmet Bedevi, whose life philosophy he exemplified. His name was Ahmet Bedevi now. As he said, Ahmet is a Bedouin naked, weird man. However, when he dies, the tree will become a symbol of love. Whichever ruler cuts a tree, I will enter his dream and hug him at his throat. This country needs greenery, trees and flowers. Please let this love live. The life story of Ahmet Bedevi was about 100 kilometers from Baghdad in 1899. It started in the city of Samarra, away. He was a Kirkuk Kurd. The years when Ahmet Bedevi was born were the years of war, and every baby boy born was considered a soldier, not a child. Ahmedin spent most of his youth in Bedouin wars. He first participated in World War I, then became a soldier of the War of Independence. Just before the War of Independence, he served as a private under the command of Kazım Karabekir Pasha in the Caucasian Front. Ahmet Bedevi was awarded the Striped Independence Medal for fighting hand-to-hand with the enemy's soldier at the front. When Ahmet Bedevi left the front, he had the Red Stripe Medal of Independence, the title of veteran at the beginning of his name and the pride of having fought in the War of Independence. However, he was no longer a soldier and had to meet civilian life. The road took him not to where he was born and raised, but to Manisa. The year was 1923. When Ahmet Bedevi came to the city, he was very upset by the landscape he encountered. The Entente states, who lost the War of Independence, withdrew their armies and set western Anatolia on fire. This fire turned the lush green nature of Manisa into tar land. Ahmet Bedevi made his decision as soon as he saw this image. It would revive the nature destroyed by the enemy. Now Ahmet Bedevi became the volunteer environmental guard of the lands of the country he protected during the war. Ahmet Bedouin was lonely and poor. He applied to Manisa municipality to work. He became a permanent garbage collector of the municipality. But his mind was in the trees. He was planting trees in the garden of the municipality where he found it empty. Realizing this, the mayor made Ahmet Bedevi the assistant gardener. Ahmet Bedevi did this job throughout his life. The people of Manisa at first a little strange about this lonely man with a long beard, who wandered the streets of the city with only black shorts and a rubber shoe in summer and winter. But Ahmet Bedevi did not care about the eyes that looked at him in astonishment. His aim was to revive Manisa, which was damaged in the war, and he worked with all his might for this. He planted trees on Spill Mountain, and he looked at them like his eyes. Over time, the trees became his child. Since the Bedouin did not care about worldly pleasures like other people, instead of renting a house for himself, he built himself a hut in the top castle on Spill Mountain. The hut didn't even have a window. Ahmet Bedevi slept on the sofa, on which he covered a newspaper. He accepted the sleeping bag, which he wanted to be given as a gift after a long time, in case his guests would come and put them in bed in the future. He quietly fed his stomach in a corner of Old Niyazi's restaurant. One of the most important characteristics of the Bedouin was that he was not in debt to anyone. Therefore, he carried a tin of water to the restaurant in return for the food he ate. The Bedouin not only took off their clothes, but also stopped shaving hair and beards. Because of yesterday, some people started calling him Pilgrim. Ahmet Bedevi had found another job besides greening the environment. He considered it a task to announce that time of the day, firing the ball at the ball fortress every noon. Another reason he did this was because he thought that this cannonball kept peace and tranquility. Now a word was added in front of the pilgrim's nickname, and Ahmet Bedevi had become the only artillery pilgrim of the people of Manisa. In Manisa, it is also told that the task of firing the iftar ball during Ramadan belongs to him, and after firing the ball, he ran to the city center in about a minute, and even how long the people expected to arrive with the clock in their hands to observe this event. Once upon a time, peace was also mentioned in Manchu's 7-77 program. In 1934, the people of Manisa encountered another person who resembled the artillery pilgrim of their city in cinemas. The name of this movie hero, who did not dress like Ahmet Bedouin and wandered in semi-naked forests, was Tarzan. The name of Ahmet Bedevi would be forgotten after that hour, and would be passed down as Manisa Tarzan from generation to generation. The people of Manisa were getting more used to Manisa Tarzan and Manisa Tarzan to the people. Especially the children loved Manisa Tarzan. Because Manisa Tarzan was buying candy for the children with his monthly money of 3 cents, and quietly helping those in need with the rest. Women, on the other hand, were accustomed to the Manisa Tarzan appearing in unfortunate places and giving them flowers. Many women even sent a letter to him to marry Manisa Tarzan. But Manisa fell in love with Tarzan only once in his life. The woman he fell in love with was Meryl from the Sheikh Tahir tribe, who lived in the Iranian region. While preparing for marriage with him, Ahmet Badevi heard Mustafa Kemal's call for a national struggle and gave up marriage. Manisa had placed Tarzan above the patriotism over love and founding a family. First of all, Ahmet Badevi was in love with being a Turk. There was a Turkish flag hanging in his dilapidated hut all the time. When Ataturk died, he cried and mourned for a long time. When the war was over, the reason for coming to Manisa, not Kirkuk, was that he did not want to live in a place not under Turkish rule. The people of Manisa not only accepted the man of medium height, well-built and agile, whom they looked at with a crazy eye when they first arrived, who walked half-naked even in winter, they started to hold him by the hand. Thanks to Ahmet Badevi, Manisa became Green Manisa. As a country that has left the War of Independence behind, Turkey was going through another period. The one-party period was now over. Serving as the opposition party, the Democratic Party started work across the country to win the 1950 elections. In order to get the support of the people of Manisa, they met with Ahmet Badevi, who is now considered the sage of Manisa. Democratic Party officials promised Ahmet Badevi that if they won the elections, not a single tree would be cut down in Manisa. Ahmet Badevi helped the Democratic Party officials with the enthusiasm of a father who saved his children from the danger of life. When the Democrat Party won the election, Ahmet Badevi realized that he had been deceived. Ahmet Badevi, who escaped from the cruel world of people, realized that he was breathing in the mountains, breathed in the shade of the trees he called my children, was deceived but never gave up. He became a member of Manisa Mountaineering Club to see every part of Turkey, which he said, I cannot live anywhere else. Tarzan went to the Taurus Mountains, to the top of Mount Silo, Mount Munzer with his new friends. He planted a Turkish flag to fly around here. He toured Anatolia city by city. Tarzan, who attracted attention everywhere he went, was both ashamed and happy about the interests of people. Commemorative of the daughters, came to the city if the first was the offering of flowers to Atselar. To present beads to the daughters of the Yoruks who set up tents on the Spil Mountain, he never neglected to distribute hard candy to children and to secretly aid some poor people. Knowing Tarzan's love for trees, Asim Kurt, the president of the Mountaineering Federation, asked Tarzan to green Ankara as well and refused Manisa Tarzan saying, I have thousands of children in Manisa, I cannot leave them. During the War of Independence, he witnessed the Greek armies setting Manisa on fire and burning thousands of trees along with the city, after which he devoted himself to the reforestation of Manisa and the care of the plants. It is said that Spil Mountain played a role in the afforestation of most of the skirts overlooking Manisa, especially on the Third Grey village side, and he even planted 20% of the trees in the region himself. He ate his food in a corner of Old Niyazi's restaurant. In return he carried water to the restaurant with a tin. He did not want to be in debt to anyone. He was a confident person. He never participated in anxiety, which is a contagious feeling. It had qualities sought after in a strong person. He has always been the center of attention with his legendary life. He regarded living as a free citizen as a basic principle. He actively participated in life. Goods, property, wealth, and did not even have the authority to end the mind. He worked for the city with the love of the city. Its name has become synonymous with Manisa. To quote the movie, Manisa Tarzan, who calls the trees my child, the rain my darling, known by the public as Meryl. When he sees a broken branch, he brings it to the ground and gives life with a handful of water. Who wants to break the concrete of the school garden and plant them? He messed with party affairs and played with his emotions. Believed by the people to be a healer. Ghazi. The nursery in front of the working path will destroy standing. The people of the governor succeeded in getting behind stopped and but there's re-enjoying now he trails him in no doubt. The incarnation of the opposition to war, destruction and nature slaughter, my fellow countrymen, the Anatolian dervish of the New Age, who devoted himself to the essence, nature, and transformed into a kind of utopian man of Plato by purifying himself from inferior human feelings with a sharp decision that none of us can do. Identifying with the trees and greenery of Manisa, Tarzan, when he completed the climb to the peaks of the mountains in Turkey and returned to Manisa, when he saw the cut trees, he was saddened by saying, they took advantage of my absence and cut the great pines. He was so upset that he was hospitalized with a heart spasm. Due to overexertion due to an enlarged heart failure diagnosed Tarzan. Look no proposed in itself less well as out of the hospital from that full recovery. He settled in his first hut on the slopes of Mount Spill instead of his new hut built in the park in the city center. He passed away on May 31, 1963, when he was taken to the hospital again in terms of health conditions. He was buried in Manisa, which he loved very much, with a magnificent funeral. Manisa Tarzan continued to be loved after his death as before his death. Manisa Tarzan, which is loved enough to make a sculpture in its name, is commemorated by the people of Manisa every year between the 31st of May and the 5th of June.